Dear learners, how are you? I hope you are having a very good time. So today we are going to address an important chapter or important part of TOLC exam, that is reading comprehension. So during these tutorials I will summarize some important, I would say very important points. Those are important to solve this kind of problem. So first of all, it's important to see the question structure, like how many questions in the reading comprehensions will appear. And one more things I want to say, that TOLC-E and TOLC-I has the same difficulty levels for reading comprehensions. So some of you who are from TOLC-I, you should not think that, oh, this is from TOLC-E, so I should not study or I should not watch these materials. That's not true. I checked this CISIA practice materials from TOLC-I and TOLC-E has the same text, so it's the same, and the difficulty level also same. So I would suggest you to watch this video, and it's same for everyone. So let's check the timing and question structure for TOLC-I and E. Okay, first of all, TOLC-I. So where the questions structure, reading comprehensions, here you can see 10 questions, 2 passages and 20 minutes. That means you have 10 minutes for per passage. How about TOLC-E? Okay, in this case also 10 questions, but your time is 30 minutes. So who are now wishing to sit for TOLC-E exam, you have 10 minutes more for reading comprehensions. Okay, let's move on to our main problem. So before starting the solving these particular text 2 we'll solve today. If we have time, then we'll take a look on text 1 as well, but let's start with text 2. But before starting, I would like to highlight some points as I mentioned earlier. For example, first of all, it's actually very important that number 1 point, skim the passage. Skim the passage. Okay, so what is the skimming the passage? Before diving into the questions, quickly skim the passage to get a general idea of the topic, structure and main points. Pay attention to the headlines, subheadings and keywords. And you might have know what is keywords actually. Keywords could be name, any kind of name or noun. Usually the famous name or river name. It could be any country's name or any year. Okay, year like 1987. So this kind of stuff you have to highlight, because this is very important to find out the questions. Okay, and other than this, the scientist name and in particular timing, it could be month or mentioning particular seasons. Okay, we can write like this, seasons. Country's name, all are including in the actually noun, but I am just sectioning them separately so that you can understand. Okay, when we'll solve the problem, we'll address further definition of keywords. So let's skim the passage first. Okay, as we mentioned, skimming the passage. So we have to pay attention on title. Okay, so this text tells us about coconut oil, and from the Renato da Silva Lima and Jane Marablog. So this is the writer name. This is the title. What do we really know about it so far? Food Quality and Safety, Volume 3, Issue 2, May 2019, page 16 to page 61 to 72. So this is actually the reference. Okay, writer's name, titles, and the the reference and journal names, etc. So this particular passage has how many passages we'll notice from here, like passage 1, then passage 2, 3, 2 is here, okay, then passage 4, okay. So there are 4 passages, and let's skim it first. So skimming means just keep your eyes, you don't need to read them, never read them. If you find something interesting, then you can just highlight, like tree of life, okay, and then 59 millions 2016, you can just highlight this 80%, 19th century USA, Caribbean, Southeast Asia, some countries name, the 1890s. So these are the keywords. World War II, paving the way, and is highlighted, okay. Soybean oils, cardiovascular disease, we'll just highlight very quickly, 1956, okay. We'll not go into details, so these are the skimmings, okay. Then let's go to the second passage, second point, I'm sorry. Okay, what would be our second point? Let's write here, number 2, read the question first. Okay, so we skim the passage. Now let's read the questions. Okay, I will not go to the questions right now. Let's actually understand how we can read the questions. So glance through the questions to understand what you need to look for in the passage. This can help you focus on relevant information. And then number 3, manage your time. So as I already told you, for TOLC-I, you have 10 minutes per passage, okay, and for TOLC-E, you have 15 minutes per passage. So you have to be very careful about the timing. You should not spend a lot of time in particular questions. If you think it's really difficult or you have some problems to understand, just skip them. You don't need to answer them. Otherwise, if you waste a lot of time in a particular questions, then you may have run out time for answering the other questions. So it's very important. Number 4, underline and highlights key information. We already did that when we skim the passage. So underline or highlights key information or keywords. Number 5, identify the type of questions. So these particular points in TOLC-I or E may not be required because it's very straightforward in a passage and only 5 questions. So although it's not important point, but I'm just writing for you who are wishing to sit for IELTS exam, it's important. Identify the types of questions. In particular, in the IELTS exam, there are different types of questions. For example, true, false, not given, finding the headings and fill in the gaps. But in this case, our TOLC-E or TOLC-I exam, English or reading comprehensions isn't so much difficult. It's very straightforward. So the questions are the very similar for all cases. Number 6, use context clues. This is very important. Okay, if you come across a word you don't know, try to understand its meanings from the context of the sentence or passage. I will give an example when I will solve the problem. Sometimes, you may not understand the meaning of a particular words. In that case, you have to understand through the context. So what is context? Context means actually the story or follow of a story. When you read a paragraph, there might have some stories, there might have some information following within the sentence. So you have to understand the meaning of the word, particular word, by understanding the context, because in IELTS or in TOLS there are a lot of words that you may not know. Number 7, practice paraphrasing. Paraphrasing. So in this particular point, actually more relevant with IELTS, not for TOLC-I or E, but just as I wrote, I would like to say that IELTS questions often use paraphrased version of the text. Be prepared to recognize synonyms or reword phrase. So in these particular cases, what we can do, like when you read the questions, and after reading that, if you go to the text, there might have some similar meanings, similar meanings but different words. So you have to understand, you have to paraphrase them. Number 8, check grammar. So this is actually a very common suggestion. Check grammar and word forms is very important. Otherwise, you may not have information about the timing. Pay attention to grammar, tense and word forms in the passage and your answer. Sometimes changing a word's form is necessary. Okay, let's move on to our next point. Number 9, practice regularly. This is very important. Practice regularly. So in this regard, I would suggest you to find out some supplementary materials or books, or maybe you can practice by your English textbook from 11th or 12th grade, reading comprehensions or synonyms. You can practice from them, and you can try to solve the questions. That would be helpful for your TOLC-I or E exam. But in case of IELTS, although I'm not going to details about IELTS, but like regular practice with actual IELTS reading materials is essentials. Familiarize yourself with the format and types of questions. Like some of you who wish to sit for IELTS, I would suggest you to practice more and more. Even who wish to sit for TOLC-E or I, sometimes you may take it to Cambridge books for you can solve the IELTS problem, especially in IELTS. In IELTS there are 3 paragraph 1, paragraph 2 and paragraph 3. So paragraph 2 and paragraph 3 usually paragraph 1 is the easiest. Okay, paragraph 2 is moderate or intermediate, and paragraph 3 is difficult. Okay, so I would suggest you, for practicing TOLC-E and I, you can try at least paragraph 1 or paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. These two will be helpful for TOLC-I and E. It would be helpful, I believe. So I would suggest you to practice from there, and at the same time it would be helpful for IELTS too. Okay, let's move on to our next point. Number 10, review your mistake. This is a very important points you should pay attention, because I have seen many students, they are good, they do mistakes, but problem is they do not actually review their mistakes. So this is very important, because if you review the mistakes, you came to know the problems, or came to know what you did or how you differently understand. So after practicing, review the questions you got wrong or were unsure about, understand why you made those mistakes and learn from them. And last suggestion is improve your vocabulary. Okay, I'm writing here, I don't have space, but okay, improve your vocabulary. Okay, so expanding your vocabulary will help you understand the text better, read widely, learn new words. And I believe in IELTS exam or TOLC, whatever you say, some of words you will never know. You must have to pay attention to the context. But don't be frustrated. Not knowing a words doesn't mean you are not a good student. Okay, so but still it's your duty to increase or improve the vocabulary, because it's sometimes makes understand easier. Okay, I have some other tips. Okay, let's add another page as I want to show you. Okay, 11 I already wrote there. Now let's move on to 12. Improve your, okay, sorry, not improve, it's actually simulate exam condition. So this actually, when you practice, try to recreate exam condition as closely as possible. Time yourself and practice under timed condition. That means in TOLC-E you are given 15 minutes per passage, so focus on that. We try to solve the questions or the 5 questions within these 15 minutes. Okay, it will help you in real exam. Okay, stay calm, number 14, and this is our last suggestion. Stay calm. Don't panic. If you find a passage difficult, keep a calm and focused mindset and move on to the easier questions if needed. Okay, so some of students, after giving mathematics, physics and other parts of the exam, they feel kind of dizzy or sometimes overwhelming. So they may feel panic, but you know, stay calm is very important. You should have very calm. If you feel some questions are quite difficult, just skip it, don't be panic. Okay, because if your mindset is calm, then you may focus on, or after sometimes you may find the questions or the paragraph much easier. But if you feel panic, then you know, like easiest questions even you cannot correct. So it's very important. Okay, all right, in summary, what I wanted to say, that remember that improving reading comprehensions takes time and practice, consistent effort, and applying these strategies will help you perform better on the TOLC reading section. So let's start. We already skimmed the passage. I'm removing it. Okay, we already skimmed the passage. Now we'll move to the questions. So let's see what our questions. So this the text 2 questions. Number 1, the author of the passage is primarily concerned with. So concerned with means interested in. Okay, We'll read the options later. Let's see others. In paragraph 2, the expression paving the way means, so it's mentioned here in paragraph 2, so we can directly go paragraph 2 to find out the answer of this particular questions. And paving the way, some of you may not know the answer, but you have to understand from the context. And let's move on to next. According to paragraph 2, which of the following statement is true? Again, this questions comes from paragraph 2. And number 3, paragraph 3 states that, okay, so we have to find the answer. This from paragraph 3. In conclusion, the author indicates that. So in conclusion, the author indicates that. Okay, we have to find out them. Okay, let's go first. Okay, this is our first questions. Let's read it well, and I think you have a mindset right now that these particular questions comes from first paragraph. Okay, we have 4 paragraphs. The first questions comes from first paragraph, then second questions number 20 and 21 comes from paragraph 2, and 22 comes from paragraph 3. In conclusion, the author indicates that these questions comes from paragraph 4. Okay, let's read paragraph the question number 1. So the author of the passage is primarily concerned means interested in, okay, concerned with exploring research underlying the use of coconuts. So here research could be an keywords. So remember, I will make this kind of underline to mean it's a keyword, and if I think some words we should know, then I will box them. Discussing the appeal of coconut oil and some concern about its use. So in this case, some concerns means some, let's see the meaning of this. Concerns means actually worry about a situation. Okay, so here is an example, like the group has expressed concern about reports of political violence in Africa. So concerns actually being worried about something. Arguing for the adoption of coconut oil in promoting health benefits. So this could be an keywords and arguing. That means there are kind of arguing means conflicting information. Some are good, some are bad. Comparing the advantages of coconut oil over other edible oils. So advantages of coconut oil, this could be an keyword over the other edible oils. So what is edible oils? Edibles means other cooking oils. Okay, so it could be soybeans, it could be olive oils or other types of oils. Clarifying the future of coconut oil companies. So coconut oil companies, this could be an keywords. Let's read the passage right now. We'll go through the passage 1. Okay, this is our passage 1. Coconut is one of the most important foods in various tropical and subtropical countries where the coconut tree is referred to as the tree of life. The coconut is very useful plant with a wide range of products being sourced from it. Coconut products are used to make everything from clothing to animal feed to beauty creams. Okay, so here we can say this sentence gives us some application of coconut oil. Okay, It gives us clothing to animal feed, beauty creams. Its kernel is harvested for its edible flesh and delicious water, while its hunk is used for its strong fibers. So what is kernel? Let's find out this word husk. What does it mean? Let's find out. Here the dictionary. The kernel of a nut is the part that is inside the shell. So in the case of coconut, the kernel actually a part of shell is part of a nut is the part that is inside the shell. So in case of coconut, is itself the white part of the coconut oil or of the coconut fruit. And what is husk? Husk is the outer covering of a grain or a seed. That means the outer grain covering of the coconut fruit is used for strong fibers. Yeah, we know that the outward skin of the coconut fruit has fiber-like materials that could be used for other purposes. Most important, however, so take a look here. I'm using a red color. Most important. So this is author's view, right? And as he said, this is the most important. That means we may find the answer here. However, are its oils which are extracted, processed and marketed for culinary, medicinal and cosmetic uses alike. So let's understand. Most important, however, are its oil which are extracted, processed and marketed for culinary. What is the meaning of culinary? Let's try to understand. Culinary means concerned with cooking. Medicinal and cosmetics use alike. So from here to here, all are application, but the most important application are here, the coconut oil. The plant is cultivated in more than 90 countries with a total yield of 15 million tons in 2016. This is the basic information. The production of coconut is extremely important in Asia, which is responsible for over 80% of the world's coconut production. So Asia actually producing more than 80% of coconut oil, especially Indian subcontinent, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Thailand, then Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia. They're famous for coconut oil because they are the tropical countries. Okay, now let's go with our question options. I hope we'll understand now. The exploring research underlying the use of coconuts, there were not any single words regarding the research, so we can't cancel out this. Discussing the appeal of coconut oil and some concern about its use. There were not any concern actually. Okay, no, let's try it later. Arguing for the adoption of coconut oil in promoting health benefits. No, they didn't talk about any health benefits yet. Comparing the advantages of coconut oils over the other edible oils. No, the passage didn't mention about any other kind of cooking oils. Clarifying the future of coconut oil companies. No, they didn't mention about future companies of coconut oils. So only options here. So discussing the appeal. Appeal means application. Okay. So most of the passage talks about actually application of coconut oil and some concerns about its use. Yes, there are some concerns. For example, about the coconut oil, how to use them. So this is our answer, options B. Our question numbers 20. In paragraph 2, the expression paving the way means blocking the future, indicating the method, making it easier, contrasting the desire, giving an example. Okay, so let's move on to paragraph 2. And here you can see the paving the way actually highlighted. That means if we read this particular sentence, then we may have the answer. So let's read the particular sentence. As a result of this scarcity, so scarcity means something lacking. Let's find out an proper answer. If there is a scarcity of something, there is not enough of it for the people who need it or want it. The price of the commodity surged. Surged means actually increase very quickly, thus paving the way for the rival soybean oil industry to expand and develop. So what is rival? Rival means we know it is very simple. Rivals actually used for rivaling or opponents, we can say. Here I can't see the exact word. So rivals means opponent. It could be like political opponent, we might have heard sometimes. Your rival is a person, business or organization who you are competing with. Okay, so for coconut oil, what is the rival? A rival is other edible oil. It could be soybean oils, it could be olive oils, it could be corn oils. So the rivals means actually opponent. So in this sentence, the price of the commodity surged, thus paving the way for the rival soybean oil industry to expand and develop. That means we don't know the paving the way. It's actually a integrated words or phrase. So we don't know exactly the meaning, but by the reading the context, the sentence, we can understand the paving the way. It seems like it actually facilitates the scarcity of the price of commodity surge as a result of this scarcity. So what is the scarcity? To understand that, let's read the in a previous sentence, then it would be clear. The fast coconut oil boom lasted until the onset of World War II around 1940. That means the boom means, like something appeared very quickly. It could be, let's search on dictionary. Boom means actually booming, or the boom means if there is a boom in the economy, there is an increase in economic activity. For example, in the amount of things that are being bought and sold. So an economic boom followed, especially in housing and construction. Okay. So this coconut oil boom lasted until the onset of World War II. That means until 1940, peoples from worldwide, they uses the coconut oil. But what happened next? When the supply of the products was cut off to Western countries, leading to a coconut oil shortage. So because of this war, the supply or transportation of coconut oil to Western countries like Europe or America, there was a shortage, because they couldn't get the coconut oil from the tropical countries like Asia or Indian subcontinent. So it makes an scarcity of lack of coconut oil in the Western countries. So the price of commodity, price of daily things surged, increased. Okay, thus paving the way. That means it could be like paving the way seems like it's facilitating or making it easier for the rival soybean oil industry to expand and develop. Okay, now next on our options. So blocking the future, I don't think so. Indicating the method, no. Making it easier, exactly, this is our answer. The paving the way means it actually facilitates or making it easier for rival soybean oils industry expand. Contrasting the these are giving an example. Okay, let's go to our next questions. According to paragraph 2, which of the following statement is true? Coconut plantation were destroyed during World War II. So this could be our keyword. Europeans preferred soybean oil as it was produced in Western countries. European preferred soybean oils as it was produced in Western countries. Okay, we'll look on it. So Europeans preferred, why? This is an keywords. Preferred soybean oils. Consumers stopped using coconut oil because soybean oil was more modern equivalent. So this soybean oil is an keyword. Consumers also an keyword. Soybean oil had never been used as an edible oil until World War II. This is the keyword. Soybean oil replaced the use of coconut oil due to the difficulties incurred in acquiring the latter. So soybean oil replaced the use of coconut oil. So soybean oil and coconut oil. So soybean oil actually replaced the coconut oil. Why? Due to the difficulties incurred. Incurred means occurring, occurred. Let's search on dictionary for better understanding. So incur means the government had also incurred huge debts. These are some examples I'm reading. So verb, it's actually verb. If you incur something unpleasant, it happens to you because of something you have done. So incurred means something occurred or something happened. So coconut oil due to difficulties incurred in acquiring the latter. This latter indicates the coconut oil. This latter actually used when you compare between two. So here we compare between soybean oil and coconut oil. So latter indicates the later one, like the second one. That means the meaning of this sentence is soybean oil replaced the use of coconut oil due to the difficulties occurred to get the coconut oil. Okay, now let's find out the answer. I think we got the answer already from this sentence. This first coconut oil boom lasted until the onset of World War II, around 1940, when the supply of the products was cut off to Western countries, leading to a coconut oil shortage. Okay, so this sentence I already explained. See, in this sentence, the first coconut oil boom lasted until World War II, but what happened? Because of the lack of supply, lack of transportation from Asia to Western countries, leading to coconut oil surge. Okay, so this could be an answer, like if we go here, then last options, like according to paragraph 2, which of the following statement is true? The soybean oil replaced the use of coconut oil due to the difficulties incurred in acquiring the latter. So I believe the number E is the answer. But I would suggest you, I'm taking too much time for this tutorial, so I suggest you to, if you have time to read all paragraphs, then you can cancel out this. Okay, but personally I believe answer is E. Let's move on our next questions. Paragraph 3 states that, so in this case we have to study paragraph 3 and then we can find out. So eating coconut oil leads to heart problems in Western countries. Heart problems is the keyword. The use of coconut oil in food was banned by the American Heart Association. This is the keyword. Consumer began to eat less coconut oil as it was thought to be health risk. The American Heart Association advised consumers not to consume coconut oil. Again, American Heart Association, this is an keyword. Western countries were unable to produce coconut oil. So Western countries is the keyword, and coconut oil also an keyword. So let's find out our paragraph 3. Once the war was over, countries with high coconut production tried to introduce the fruit into Western countries, but little success. Okay, after the World War II, the Southeast Asian countries try again to introduce the coconut fruit into the Western countries, but they couldn't success for some points, because already there were some rival edible oil, soybean oils was introduced. So coconut oil was rejected at this point due to its high saturated fat content. Remember, this is very an important aspect, like high saturated fat contents. So in the coconut oil there was high saturated fat that is not good for health. This rejection was associated with the findings of epidemiological studies conducted by the American psychologist. So the psychologist's name is Uncle Case, who formulated a hypothesis of the association between the consumption of high saturated fat with high blood cholesterol level, and therefore the increased likelihood of cardiovascular disease. Okay, so this sentence is important. Why the Western countries reject coconut oil? Because the rejection was associated with the findings of epidemiological studies conducted by American psychologist, who formulated just a hypothesis. Okay, it is not proved, it's just a hypothesis. Hypothesis means just predicting something. So after scientific examination, hypothesis can be proved or can be rejected. So hypothesis is an idea which is suggested as a possible explanation for a particular situation or condition, but which has not yet been correct. Okay, let's read the next sentence. In 1956, in parallel to Kay's research, the American Heart Association, this is the keyword we marked in the questions, started informing the population. See, they started informing the population that consuming large quantities of high saturated fat foods could increase the risk of cardiovascular disease. So remember, the American Heart Association didn't ban the coconut oil. They just urge population to refrain consuming large quantities of high saturated fat foods. These in turn led to decline in the popularity of coconut oil, which was known to be high in saturated fat. So this announcement of American Heart Association influenced the population. Therefore, the population started consuming coconut oil less than before. Let's find the answer now. Okay, so eating coconut oil leads to heart problems in Western countries. This was not mentioned. We didn't find any issues regarding heart problems. The use of coconut oil in food was banned by American Heart Association. No, they didn't ban actually. They just informing the people. Consumers began to eat less coconut oil as it was thought to be health risks. That could be an answer. Let's read out others. The American Heart Association advised consumers not to consume coconut oil. No, they didn't also advise it. They just informed. Western countries were unable to produce coconut oil. This information was not given. So our correct answer is C. However, dear learners, I think this tutorial gonna be long. If I continue, number 23 also easy. So I suggest you to study last paragraph, then you will understand it. Right now I want to conclude my today's tutorial. I hope you understood the procedure and points I suggested. So I believe if you practice, you can make better marks in the examination. Please like, suggest, and suggest to your friends and share. Also subscribe my channels and let me know if you have any further inquiry, any questions or any demand, whatever. Just let me know in the comment section, or any suggestion, whatever you want. I will try to answer them. So I want to finish here today, and thank you so much. If I have time in future, I will try to address text 1 as well.